Saskatchewan Roughriders' fortunes. Won an opening game in a third straight season for Dave Dickinson. 5 wins away from 100 as the Stampeders head coach. As we mentioned, the wind is brisk, coming left to right on your screen. Saskatchewan won the toss and deferred. Calgary chose to kick off, so as the ball rolls off the tee for Jude McTammany, they will set up and do this one again. Saskatchewan deferred. Calgary said, okay, well, we'll take an end. Everybody wants the wind in the long quarter.
Yeah, and then it's going to be real important for Saskatchewan while they have the wind to make things happen offensively. Get yourself in greater field position to either kick field goals or score touchdowns. You need to score when you have the wind on your side.
It hangs up in the air. You see the wind right there as Letcher has to come up to 30 to get it. Breaks a tackle, flag down, and Letcher will not get much on the return, but immediately you see the effects of the wind in this one. It'll be a face mask going in favor of the Stampeders, or pardon me, in favor of these Riders. And there you go, dragging Letcher to the ground. Is Laomi Ojulatayo will get dinged for the penalty there. And the Saskatchewan offense, which doesn't need a lot of help.
Major foul, face mask. Calgary number 82, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Trevor Harris.
Trevor Harris, unbelievable last week, 417 yards, which is only the 7th best of his career. At least, how does this guy have more better games than that? That was amazing. Stat hearing that this week. Just spectacular drive at the end of the game to win the football game.
6 incompletions, 3 touchdown passes, all of them to Sam Emelis. A lot of receivers to talk about, a lot of offense to talk about as the Riders go 1st and 10 from the 48 following the penalty. It'll be A.J. Ouellette. And there is Derek Moncrief in on the tackle. Moncrief is everywhere in this Calgary defense. And we check out a loaded Saskatchewan Roughriders offense.
Most outstanding offensive lineman, Jamarcus Hardrick, looked outstanding last week, continues to build on his Hall of Fame career. Kean Schaefer-Baker, last career high 11 catches last week, 165 yards, 7 catches for first down conversions. Amazing by him last week. Great relationship, him and Trevor Harris.
Schaefer-Baker, the second receiver, up to the top of the screen to Harris's left on 2nd and 7. Harris out wide, in behind coverage goes Keyshawn Johnson to the 30 and down. Harris knew where the hole was going to be and threw it before it was open, Lapo.
Basically trying to figure out, you're going to see a corner right here. He's going to sink in on an out-breaking route, but then the deep shot, Trevor's going to recognize the corner sitting. You'll see right there, the corner stops. Trevor knows it's happening, throws it to Keyshawn behind the coverage for a 38-yard gain. Great recognition by Trevor Harris, seeing that throw because the corner wants to take the underneath. You got to understand, Trevor's going to bait you and throw the deeper ball.
It didn't take much of a false step from Adrian Green, and that one was wide open. 1st and 10, Riders just outside the red zone, and we'll have a stop, a flag down. Appears the
time count violation. Saskatchewan number 7, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
So you've seen a lot of time counts this season. Obviously the 20-second clock is factoring into some of these. As we know, there's basically 2 seconds right after the play's over. They start the 20-second clock. Some teams are trying to get caught up in understanding how that change in the rules is affecting it, but we have seen a lot of time counts this year.
1st and 15 now for Harris and company. We watched Samuel Emelis at the very top of your screen. 3 touchdowns last week as Harris play action. He's ready across the middle for Keyshawn Johnson. Oh, and Adrian Green in great coverage to fight for the ball as it falls incomplete.
Play action pass, one of the things they did very well last week. Little play action on the inside, but I love what Green does. He undercuts this slant route as the ball's a little bit too far inside and gives him the opportunity to undercut that ball and almost get a pick.
Want to welcome you in if you're watching Montreal and Edmonton. The Elks winning on Cody Fajardo's touchdown pass in overtime. The 2-0 Elks, I should say. Touchdown run, pardon me, as we wait Trevor Harris here on 2nd and 15 deep in Calgary territory. Underneath, it is complete at the 20. Taken by Del Duncan Busby. That will now set up Saskatchewan for a field goal. As the Elks go to 2-0, Lapo.
Nice, outstanding win, and a guy named Justin Rankin had another big day, as we see, going through the stats on this game. Good stop here by the Stampeders. That's what you got to do to Trevor Harris. Can you get him in some difficult long yardage situations, force him to check it down, all right, get him off the field?
Alex Hale lines up for a 27-yard field goal attempt with this very stiff breeze, the hold from Oscar Chapman, and it's Saskatchewan scores on its opening drive. Keyshawn Johnson against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They start immediately with play action. Vernon Watts deep down the sideline for Tevin Jones, almost taken away by Marcus Sales, and it'll be second down. Take a look at the Calgary offense, and an offensive line that gave up 4 sacks in week number 1.
Chris Fortin, last year rookie, had to start for an injured Bryce Bell, retained the job through training camp this year, and Jalen Philpott led the team with 7 targets, 5 of 96 last week at this new boundary slot position for Jalen Philpott. We'll talk about that today and what it means for him to play closer to the ball.
Yeah, you see him near the line, on the line. It's a little jump from that Saskatchewan defensive line, and the pointing will ensue.
And you can see that 1st and 10 pass that went up in the air. There was an open receiver. Vernon Adams put the ball up in the air. The wind just took it and brought that football back. That's how it's so important, how you manipulate throwing into the wind and also having the ability to run the ball into the wind. Let's see what happened here.
We'll take a look. Desmond Evans, the defensive end for this. There you go. There's Evans jumping, and then as a response, William Barnes, it looks like. Response.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 98. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Evans, the rookie out of North Carolina State, a sack and 1 taken away by penalty in a nice debut.
Yeah, really good last week, and then certainly understanding, trying to, as these young guys try to understand the hard counts and being good with the hard counts.
With the penalty and the incompletion, 2nd and 5 for the Stampeders here on their opening drive. Saskatchewan running 5 across the front. All 5 will come. Adams pressure in his face immediately. Evades it Vernon Adams style and gets spilled at the 46-yard line. The pressure immediately from Antoine Brooks. It's a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd down, Stamps.
Sometimes when you release the back out of the backfield, you have a free player off the outside. You see Woods right there, and you see in a position right where he's coming off the edge. You've got to account for him when there's not a position to be able to, you got to get the ball out of your hands when there's a free rusher like that. Kind of surprised Vernon there on that free rusher.
Mark Fassett to punt into this wind, gusting to 46 kilometers an hour, forces Letcher to run, and he's got the 36-yard punt, and he is whacked down games.
Yeah, one of those is in a Grey Cup, and I know why this is, because I used to go against that Calgary team. Their defense over the years was outstanding. You know, usually the Calgary Stampeders always came in, not only with Bo Levi Mitchell, but they always had a great defensive unit.
First down for the Stamps. They'll give it to A.J. Ouellette in the run game. A little under 5 yards a carry in week number 1 as we take a look at the Stampeders defense with a valuable new addition, Lampo.
Yeah, certainly there's a lot of good things going on with this defense for the Stamps. You know, Clarence Hicks, you know, 3rd in the CFL last with 12 sacks last season. And then talk about this guy. Led the team with 6 total tackles last week, but tackle for loss last year, 1st in the CFL. And Adrian Green, West Division All-Star, tied for 1st in the CFL with 6 interceptions, already making plays early in this game.
2nd and 6 for Harris, surveying. Throws it into a hole, hit immediately at the 50-yard line. There's the completion to Jalen Johnson, and Saskatchewan is on the move with the wind again.
Watching this is going to be a layered route where you're going to try to put a player here, you're going to put a person deep, and you're going to put a person underneath, and you're just trying to clear this out. Watch this. We're going to try to clear out and then show up behind the corner route and throw it over the top of the halfback. This is so hard to throw. You see Adrian Green recognizes it, tries to get in to make the play, but a great throw in between for a 19-yard gain.
Just flip it to Ouellette. He is hit very quickly, drags it forward for a couple of yards. Kyle Wilson made first contact as you saw the fullback split out on the line of scrimmage ahead of that run.
The hardest thing about this Saskatchewan offense and Trevor Harris, he keeps getting first downs. He puts you in a position where you're going to have a lot of plays you're going to have to face. He's going to get first downs, and once he gets too many first downs, here comes a shot play. This was a team last year that was one of the most explosive downfield passers, even though Trevor Harris gets his, well, he throws it down, he throws check downs a lot. He stays on the field to create those shot plays.
It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Stampeders. Perhaps in field goal range with this breeze. Harris guns the out, led Jalen Johnson into the Calgary bench and the netting and all sorts of things going by.
And here's what the Calgary defense has already got 2 good stops because of this. Last week, you like the stats? You want a stat here?
Oh, give me.
8 for 8 on 2nd and medium for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but only 4 conversions out of 10 on 2nd and long. So you long yardage twice for the Stampeder defense to put Sask in. Won both of those.
Hook it to my veins, Lapo. 2nd and medium stats. As they bring on Oscar Chapman to punt instead of the long field goal. Sky high, end over end, and it leaks into the end zone. McAllister will hope it goes out the back. 2nd and very long conversions on that drive. A little flip. Right to left, here's Brooks. And he spills up, held up very well by the Saskatchewan defense. And the rookie in his CFL debut, Juju Hughes, holds up the no gain.
James Vaughters comes in as a free agent for this defense from Winnipeg. Had 6 sacks last year trying to replace Malik Carney's productivity. How about this guy? Anton Brooks, 10 defensive tackles last week. Career high for him and tops in the Canadian Football League. Jackson Ford gets his 5th career start at free safety, filling in for Nelson Lacombo. Had a start last year here in Calgary.
Calgary fake starting the play and either did so very successfully or very unsuccessfully.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Calgary can't have happening on 2nd and 10.
Procedure.
Getting backed up
Calgary
here.
number 61.
So the
5-yard penalty remains 2nd down.
The philosophy when you're into the wind is you should be taking as much time off the clock as possible. You want to run the football. You want to stay on the field so Saskatchewan doesn't get great opportunities to either get yardage or keep punting with the wind at their back. You want to hold on to this football when you're into the when you're into the wind and minimize their opportunities with the wind.
2nd and 15 for the Stampeders, and they'll go screen to Mills with blockers in front. Mills gets back a couple of yards before Brooks makes the tackle, but 3 yards will not be enough, and Calgary will be forced to kick this one back again into this very brisk Calgary wind.
Really good recognition and chase. You can see them coming off the edge on the outside. Caleb Saunders, 13 defensive tackles last season, 2 sacks. Really good push, recognizing the screen and chasing it down.
Mark Vassett back to punt. Their 2nd round pick in last year's global draft. Their 1st overall pick ended up taking his job mid-season. Nice boot. Letcher outside the numbers, 46-yard punt, and he's got the sideline, the 45. Letcher can't break that final tackle of Kalon Thomas, but the Riders set up just before the midfield stripe flagged down on the play. Sam Emelis had a game of guys would pay money to have a game like this.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns last week. You know, just
during the
multiple
return,
guys had plays, but had a great understanding of being in a relationship with Trevor Harris. The right spot at the right time. You see this corner out versus a touch for a touchdown with great leverage. High point the ball for these good plays.
That 3rd touchdown to Emelis looked like they were just playing on the schoolyard. They made it look so very easy for that 3rd one. Emelis, his 2nd career 3-touchdown game. You see Saskatchewan marching it all the way back there, dinged for holding on the return, and that one is punishing because they were right near midfield. Now they'll start this drive at their own 16, 1st and 10.
I love everything about Emelis. When you watch his film, he blocks, he's physical, he plays away from the football. What does that mean? He works when the ball's not coming to him.
Harris will throw on 1st and 10, looking for something. He whips it out wide and through the hands of Samuel Emelis, and it falls incomplete. It's not in the end zone, so you can't make all the catches unless they're in the end zone.
Easy throws on the outside. This is what Trevor Harris recognized, so good at. This is what's called a free access throw. What does it mean? There's access on the outside. He's just going to take that throw. He sees it. The ball's out of his hand quickly to Sam. Just a little bit too far on the outside for him to make that catch.
Going with the wind, are there some effects that Trevor Harris will have here and then Vernon Adams the next quarter?
You do have to be a little bit careful how many deep shots, because the ball may stay with the wind and push it downfield. You'd like to kind of throw the underneath dig routes.
2nd and 10. Little twist up front. Harris gunning it. Incomplete, intended for Johnson with a man all on top of him. That Jaden Granton coverage it was. And Saskatchewan will be forced to punt.
Another good stop by Calgary. Again, this is the second series in a row where they forced a 3rd and long, or a 2nd and long, to put them in a position. And you can see the #1 receiver on the outside. This is what's called the dig play. They're going to clear out underneath and then try to throw the dig play, but it's just very difficult when you, when you have a defensive back inside position on a defensive inside dig route. So you get a DB in position.
Running into the halfback as opposed to Green chasing him when they tried that earlier. As we get a 0 on the play clock. And
so why would you
time count violation? Saskatchewan number 91.
So why would Sask
remains
be
3rd down.
this close to snapping this football? Why? Because they're in a situation here where they're trying to see as this goes. I'm just not sure how they're trying to sort out this 20-second clock here, because you actually want to get this thing kicked as soon as possible to make sure you conserve time with the win.
Tyreek McAllister standing at his own 45-yard line. He will come up to get it, a chance to expand on his work last week.